IX Squared, thanks to the tier 1 sub, play Persona 5. I don't really want to play Persona 5. That's my response. I guess I just don't really get it, you know? It seems like most of the appeal of Persona 5 is pretending that you're a handsome high schooler who gets groomed by a nurse or something. I don't know. Can they just make games like that, but without the weird shit? Like, I don't even think it's pedophilia because all of the characters look like adults. I'm not going to say, like, obviously it's like, you know, Kujo Jotaro is 17 years old kind of thing. But can they just make it less weird? Please? With that? Metaphor is kind of Persona without the weird. I'm sure it still has the weird. It's a little weird, but not bad. Yeah, I know everyone likes Persona 5 or whatever. I know it's like a celebrated game. And this is the case with the anime too. I just would like it if it was less weird. It's the same thing I said about Kill la Kill, right? Like if you think Satsuki or whatever is hot, I'm not going to go like, "Oh, she's a high schooler, you sicko," because she's drawn with an adult body and like we're reaching levels of abstraction where I feel like you're virtue signaling, you know? Like, "Oh, look at this drawing of somebody who's 6 heads tall with like big tits and hips with an adult's body." Like what? But it's like, why does it have to be high schoolers then, you know? Because I remember being in high school and everyone's like awkward and gangly and stuff. If you want to have like a story that has romantic themes set in a high school, why can't they be high schoolers and you deal with that on its own terms? Like a high school romance should be like awkward because they're awkward. Like if you're going to make characters who look the way the Persona characters do, why make them high schoolers? You know what I mean? Because they don't have to be. They don't look like high schoolers. Can't they be like college students? At least? Literally, like Persona 5 cast. Cast? I don't know. Like you take a look at these character designs they've come up with. And they're good character designs, right? Like Persona character designs are good. I'm not going to like pretend they weren't cooking or whatever. Where's okay, here's them during like an animated bit or whatever. This is literally not what high schoolers look like, obviously, but like, come on. Why can't you just make them college students? Why can't you make them college? Joker's literally 16. Joker's literally like 8 heads tall. He looks 6'3". He's wearing a turtleneck with a. He doesn't have to be. That's just a number that they wrote. Why? Yeah, Kujo Jotaro is 17 or something. Like, I'm just saying, like, why make it weird? This is what high schoolers look like when you're in the 8th grade. Okay, that's true, though. Did you watch Dandadan? Yeah, and Dandadan is a romance set in a high school where the central romantic theme is that they're both awkward as fuck, and it's really good. Now, if the follow-up to that is, well, in Dandadan, they do sexualize the female main character, my response to that would be, yeah, I wish they wouldn't. They do give her an adult's body, so I'm not going to say like, oh, if you watch this, you're a sicko or whatever. And also, generally, it's a pretty good anime. But if you wanted to make, okay, basically what I'm saying is you can have an awkward high school romantic anime, or you can have like a bombastic shonen, like the girl has big boobies and she's hot and she fights and you get to see her boobies bounce when she's hot. You shouldn't do both at the same time. You should do one or the other. Like, don't you think Dandadan would be a little bit, I don't know, nicer without the departures into fan service? Or the corollary, wouldn't the departures into fan service in Dandadan be better if they were done to adult characters? It just seems weird to me that like Okarun is this like shrimpy kid, and then the girl he likes like gets her clothing obliterated by aliens, and she has the body of like a toned like TikTok horny influencer who's 25 years old, you know? Like, oh yeah, he's like he's like a little cartoon stick guy, and the girl is like, you know, has like the optimal body or whatever, you know? I don't like this discussion because I have photos of myself from high school. My body looked the same. You're projecting your issues onto what I'm talking about. These are like deliberate decisions made by artists and writers to sexually appeal to people. Like, we're not talking about real life. In real life, there are people who hit puberty like super early or like super late. We're not talking about real life. We're talking about the mangaka for Dandadan was like, I want these awkward high schoolers to have like an awkward romance, but I also want the girl to be like hot and sexy, even though she's a high schooler. That's a choice they made. It has nothing to do with reality. It's just like it's like they, you know, chose to do that. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Some people develop before they're 18. Are you being real right now? Are you fucking kidding? We're not talking about real. Are you fucking kidding me? Weird, like, perving on children in anime, and your response is like, well, children develop early sometimes. What the fuck are you talking about? Think before you speak. There was absolutely a girl in high school with real DDs. Whoa! Are you... I could fucking... Like legitimately, what are you people thinking? Literally, what are you thinking? What are you thinking right now? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not even gonna, like, there are like 70 lines of argumentation we could run down to explain how you're more than wrong. I'm not even gonna, this is so like 2020 coded argument with chat. I'm not doing this shit. Fucking, you say there should be less sexualized high schoolers in anime, and everyone, all of a sudden, everyone in chat, non-binary, has anxiety, PTSD, came from a abusive household. I don't want to hear it, okay? You motherfuckers just need to watch and consume content where the horny girls are college students. That's all I'm asking for, okay? Hey, what if the hot girl with the big tits was 18 or over? Fish died, cat burned down, dog died, mom died. What do you... Come on. Yeah, but the only stereotype for inexperienced lovers in college are autistic coded. Okay, but we could do a little more with reality on this one. It doesn't all have to be welcome to the NHK shit. Aren't a bunch of young people these days like perma-virgin losers anyway because no one talks to anyone? Like, just... have your shit happen in high school and everyone's still awkward. That they literally are in real life. Like, that's not even, you don't have to bend reality to arrive at that fucking possibility. That shit's literally happening now everywhere. What, like, you don't, like, you do, like, people, did I say high school? College. In college, I mean. Like, in college, be awkward. Because they are awkward in college. Doesn't everyone, like, everyone's like a kid until they're fucking 30 now anyway. Have you talked to people? Have you looked at yourself? There are people in their mid-20s. When your great-grandparents were in their mid-20s, they were like, yeah, gonna have to, like, sell my 8th child to pay for the fucking barley that I need to make the grain to feed the other 7 or something. And nowadays, you know, you people don't even know what the interest rate is in the credit card that you use to pay your student loans or whatever. Like, fuck you. Piece of shit. Okay, I'm just gonna read something from YouTube chat, and I'm gonna judge all of YouTube chat by it. And I want you all to know, like, how much discipline I exercise in my day-to-day, okay? Vaush is wrong. I just attended my niece's middle school ceremony, and there are a variety of body types. It continues from there and gets worse from there. I'm not even reading that shit out loud. This is what I have to deal with from you people. The reflexive contrarianism reaches points where you people... What? Contrarianism taking me to places I wouldn't go even with a gun, basically. That's all of YouTube chat now. I'm using this to fuel another, like, 12 months of antagonism between the chats. I don't consider YouTube chatters human. Me either, basically. Type shit. It sucks, too, from, like, an artistic perspective, because obviously Persona looks really good. Right? But, like, how, like, this girl, I don't know her name. This girl right here. And pardon me, maybe I'm, like, imposing my social circle on this a little bit. Futaba. Is this not an autistic 25-year-old trans girl? You're telling me this is a high schooler? No, the fuck she isn't. Futaba is like 14 to 15. Okay. See, now to me, that is a decision made by a pedophile. Like, easily. Like, that to me, what you're telling me right now is like, this is a decision made by people to appeal to pedophiles. I just, like, that, there are very few justifications that you could come up with for like a character design story, like chosen age imbalance other than that. She does also look like a Splatoon Squid Girl. That is also true. I don't understand the defensiveness from some people. Well, Nemesia, I don't know. People just like, it's so obvious too, like how much this is done. No, Vaush, this is done to appeal to high schoolers, their target audience. No, it's not. No, it's not. The sexualization of no, it's not. It's not. That's not what's going on in the anime community. There's a very broad pattern here of this, and it's not that. This is meant to appeal to YouTube chat. That's true. I liked Persona when I was in high school. Do you derive a sexual thrill from deliberately misinterpreting the point that I'm making in an attempt to, like, pathetically, defensively protect your personal interests? Are you incapable of critically examining things you like? I'm not saying you're bad if you like Persona. I never said that. Like, holy shit. Use your fucking heads. Unless you want me to be uncharitable and assume that you're like a pedophile and you're being really defensive about it because you don't want to come to... Oh, that doesn't feel good, huh? That presumption from your parasocial fave? Don't be an idiot. Don't force me to do that, okay? It bothers me when I say really obvious shit like Japanese media often has an issue with sexualizing younger characters, and then people in chat are like, well, like, really? Come on. How did this turn into a conversation? People in both chats being like, well, I disagree with that? Jesus Christ. It's I just don't, that's the reflexive, you know, it's anime shit, man. They'll draw little girls and say they're 1,000 years old. They'll draw adults and say they're fucking 12 years old, you know? Problems in both directions. You can do the math on that. Argue with me, motherfucker? My big issue with Vaush's take isn't the age, but his prescription on subculture styles he's not a member of. Like his description of Futaba works in America, that aesthetic isn't the same in Japan. Never talk to a fucking American weeb about this shit. They'll be like, well, in Japanese culture, actually, Japanese have a concept called futagoro, which means it's actually okay to sexualize children. And you're actually being really disrespectful to the Japanese culture by not honoring that tradition. By practicing futoboro, actually, I'm like honoring their laws and their culture. Ikiru means to live. Yeah, that's another big Japanese sacred tradition, that it's good to live or something. So when you kill people, you're like violating a sacred right. It's not even a law thing. It's just culture. America has worse problems, homie. Why are you people like this? It's not a competition. Also, the people ruining America right now are the people who would be cool with this in anime. Pretty big, like, fash pedo overlap, you know? Like Asmongold saying that it's censorship to not have, like, 11-year-old girls have their pussy bones out or whatever in game localizations or whatever the fuck that video was. It's like kind of a big overlap there. Pussy bones? It's a reference. You wouldn't get it. You're not as cultured and smart as me. He's not saying you're bad if you like Persona, but I am. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. I just got like massive psychic damage. Go down this road far enough and any media exploring the relationships and culture of people under 18 becomes forbidden. Is that the world we want? Why? You have a tier 2 sub. Don't you value your ability to chat in chat? You know this is perma territory. What are you talking about? I was literally just saying that Dandadan was good. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Why? You don't have to. It's totally unforced. Nobody's forcing anyone to type these things. I don't understand. Hold on. Hold on. We're seeing now the preferential treatment afforded to tier 2 subs. Holy shit, you're invested in this topic. Those are adults. If they look like adults, they act like adults. They should be written as college students, i.e. adults. Okay. I thought Dandadan was set in community college. I fucking wish. I wish. That, like, honestly, that'd fix so much. Wait. I haven't seen it, but I could say the same thing about Dandadan, and I refuse to accept that as pedo shit. Go down the road far enough. Wait, wait, hold on. What did Clog say? Right. Why didn't that work? Wait, Clog isn't the actual name of the person. Fuck! Oh, Clog in the evolution. Submit your chat log for inspection, citizen. The setting is them in high school. Backdrops are classrooms. Naturally, what were you doing? And talking about homework or living with parents, so with plenty of parent between the supernatural child setting is so pointless. They could be written any other way. It sucks. The games seem really tight and refined aesthetic-wise. Talking about Persona. I haven't seen it, but I could say the same thing about Dandadan. I refuse to accept that as pedo shit. Go down this run far enough. Okay. It seems like you weren't responding to me directly. You were responding to the completely made up argument that no one made that Dandadan is pedophilic, which I didn't say. Okay. But you said it like you were responding to my point broadly rather than continuing with what you were saying in that conversation. This is why we have habeas corpus. I still think you're over-invested in the topic, but I'm not ban them anyway. Well, I've seen people claim Link is an underage twink to appeal to pedos. Is that the world we want to tolerate? Okay, but like, that's not a real problem. But the sexualization of kids is. You know what I mean? It just comes across weirdly defensive. I don't know. Like, someone on Twitter said that because Link's canon age is indeterminate, but in some cases as a kid, that any art of Link that's porn is pedophilic art. I don't think people really believe that. Like, I don't think it's a real problem. I don't know. It's like, it's a very terminally online problem. Like, anyone is going to be accused of being a pedo for, like, saying, I liked this porn of Link, and it's like Link getting railed by Ganondorf or something. I don't think that's real. I just think we're way too fast to pin media as pedo shit. But in what context? I'm just talking about how it's weird how often anime bends over backwards to have through some contrived circumstance, people who look like adults are children, or people who look like children are adults. Like, but is that not weird? Torpedo, high school age boys aren't the lucrative demographic for anime-related media. And what I'm about to say will come across as kind of cynical, but it's true. There is a small but wealthy group, not wealthy, I should say, but lucrative group of men 30 to 40 years old who are pedophiles who pay a lot of money to get the Blu-rays or the deluxe editions of games or anime that are released, often ones that have less censorship than the stuff that airs on TV. These are the people, they're the whales of these industries. They are the ones who provide the most money. In reality, a lot of these anime and anime games or whatever have very, very, very small player bases. The market is very different in Japan than it is over here. Over here, we have like AAA games. We'll talk games. AAA games, AA games sometimes, and then indie games. We don't really have much of a middle market. In Japan, there is a middle market of games that rarely get localized, and when they do, they're heavily censored. The reason those games exist and are able to exist over there is in large part because they sell very, very, very expensive versions of themselves, whether it be in the form of Blu-rays or like deluxe editions or whatever, to pedophiles in Japan. Usually the pull on this in this media is at least in some capacity related to the fact that it's pedo shit. This isn't a conspiracy. It's a widely recognized feature of the industry. It's not all anime shit, but those people are the whales. And they have an influence on the broader anime and anime game medium, where there's a heavy incentive to get pull in from that demographic. Can confirm I lived in Japan. Some of the most successful anime are pedo trash. One of the top selling books there is Oreimo, story about a guy getting with his 12-year-old sister. It's open and awful. Yeah, it's not even remotely subtle. If you're even remotely familiar with like the extent to which this industry, like the way in which it exists in Japan, it's way worse over there than it is over here. A lot of this stuff, and that's the reason why there are like weird pedo weebs who get mad about Western localization that censors a lot of the pedophile stuff over in Japan, because Western companies localize and they're like, we'll bring it over, but we're not keeping like this stuff, or we're gonna like tone it down or edit the outfits or change the dialogue. This happens a lot. So when I say something like this is a problem in Japanese media, and people in chat are like, well, there are high school girls who are developed. Well, but America has its own problems. Like, just stop, okay? Come on, it's just fucking, I don't want to do this spiel. Like, it's a real problem. That's it. It doesn't have to be argued. Yeah, those are the motherfuckers buying the box sets. I'll tell you this much, and I'll tell you this as someone who's gone to Japan, okay? Go to Japan. And then go to any weeb-oriented hobbyist store that's not in the main tourist districts. Go to one of the ones that's not all One Piece and Dragon Ball or whatever, you know? One of the ones that appeals to, like, locals. Some of the statues they got up there, saw them in the window walking by near the Shibuya district. Some of that shit, you could not have that shit out in any hobbyist store in America. I'll tell you that much. I'm good on that, my G. Yeah, that's what I thought. They pussy is out. That's true. Americans are such prudes. Totosaurus. They're statues of children. That's what I'm talking about. I assume Totosaurus thought I was referring to just, like, pussy bones being out. You can do that in America. Are pussy bones vagina bones? Don't worry about it. You'll find out when you're older. Sorry, I'm trying to decide whether to permanently ban Totosaurus, but I can't really tell. Not enough to work off of. When I was in Akihabara about a year ago, I decided to go into the adult section of an otaku shop for shits and giggles. I was so disgusted that I went right back up the stairs and walked to the station and left for another part of Tokyo. I don't know how that lolicon shit is allowed to just be displayed publicly like that. Yeah, seriously. It's one of the reasons I get so exasperated when people, because again, you know, 2020 discourse or whatever, when people are like, well, I don't think it's that much of a problem. And it's like, dude, it's like actually a huge fucking problem. Do you remember that, like, that comic that got viral on Twitter recently? And it was a comic drawn by a pedophile where he talked about how he felt guilty for the time he groomed and, like, raped a kid or something. And it got like 100K likes or whatever. And then a woman quote tweeted it, and the woman said, like, just so you all know what this is, I hate living here. Men here are awful. I'm a Japanese woman. It was on Facebook and Insta. Well, everything makes the rounds on social media these days. That shit was actually insane, man. Yeah. Non-weeb here, is it common in Japan for men to be like that? Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really lived in Japan. I can't really say. I feel like men definitely have a prevailing tendency in most of the world that I'm aware of. So I don't really know, like, to what extent that really changes or how much that shifts nationally, but there's kind of a broader issue at hand here, right? I mean, like, the president of the United States was literally the closest friend of history's most notorious child sex trafficker. So I don't know. Can I finish these donos? Yeah, Evangelion definitely has that weird stuff in it as well. It's just that it's so, like, generally amazing that it kind of overcomes that in the public consciousness, I guess. Isn't Ava trying to be weird with it, though? Look, Ava, there are elements of Evangelion with regard to that that are artistically justifiable, and there are elements of it that aren't. And you can pull out the calipers to try to measure that bit by bit if you want to. You can just accept that it's a foundational and extremely high quality anime that also has some weird stuff. Just don't watch the rebuilds, man. The rebuilds are just pedo shit, as far as I'm concerned. Everything artistically defensible happened in the original and in End of Evangelion, and then the rebuilds basically were just, it's seemingly, at least the third and the fourth ones were like, what if we told a worse version of the same story for a higher budget with more creepy shit in it? Rebuilds are great. I'm not going to tell you to rewatch all of them. The only rebuild that's good is the first one, because it's basically just a higher res copy of the show. Nikki Bugs, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Yeah, I do think the obsession with high school and Japanese anime is partly because people over there hate their work culture, but it goes way beyond that. Like, the pedo shit is way broader than just, like, looking to high school as the last time they were allowed to have fun in their life or whatever. Then End of Evangelion have the main character sexually assault one of the female leads. Yeah. Spoilers, but yeah. What about it? That part of End of Evangelion is not the sussy part. I'm not arguing with anyone in chat over the artistic value of the most influential anime ever made. Like it's like Astro Boy and Evangelion. Well, I'm gonna argue with you on the merits. Pluto is good. Yeah. It's your job. No, reading super chats is my job. I love your MO, Vaush. Good advice is always certain to be ignored, but that's no reason not to give it. Well, right now my MO is crash out while arguing with chat, which is probably like bad of me, but it shows my weakened mental. You know, I'm only human. Listen, I'm not energetic enough right now to draw like the great plan, to construct the grand design, but one day you all will understand that what's happening in this country right now and pedo-Japanese shit are the same problem. Because fascism stems from the lonely and sexually insecure male. It's actually like a superstructure that encompasses within it the same underlying psychosexual tension and hypocrisy and alienation, and from that like sprouts so much social illness. Yeah, a pedophilic superposition, exactly. I mean it. I'm literally right, by the way. There's a reason why the fascists over here in America tend to love that shit, but, you know, whatever. Whenever I try to tell someone all this comes from guys being unable to treat women right, they call me woke lol. True, though? Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. Yeah. I really do believe that, like, so much of that stuff in Japan or here, it's not even, like, paraphilia derived. It's, like, sheer fucking terror of women and of being judged for being sexually inadequate derived. Because for so many of them, it genuinely seems like a lot of their politics are like stem from just like abysmal terror and anxiety about all of the like things they've been taught about relationships and sex and the idea of all of these like expectations being let down or whatever. It's I don't know. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, socially constructed pathology. Yeah, so.